Hey friends, welcome back to our little corner of wisdom and shared experiences. Today, I want to chat with you about something that might just change the way you see your golden years, and maybe even how you relate with your grown children. Now, I know it sounds a bit dramatic. After 70, never let your adult children know these 5 secrets, or they'll use them to control your life. But trust me, this isn't about keeping score or starting family feuds. It's about reclaiming the wisdom and independence you've earned over the decades. So sit back with a cup of tea and let's get comfortable, because what I'm about to share comes from years of real-life lessons, heartfelt conversations, and yes, even a few hard knocks along the way. Now, you know how it is. Life doesn't come with an instruction manual, and sometimes we learn the most important things the hard way. Picture this. It was a chilly autumn afternoon, and I was sitting in my favorite armchair, thinking about all the times I had trusted that my adult children would understand my wishes and respect my boundaries. But over time, I noticed subtle shifts, a nudge here, a suggestion there, that began to erode the little independence I still clung to. It got me wondering, how many of us have felt that our children, even when grown, sometimes forget that we're not just relics of the past, but individuals with wisdom and experiences to share? Have you ever felt that way? Perhaps you've noticed your independence slipping away bit by bit, or felt that the conversations with your children have turned into a power play where they subtly use the things you once kept private against you. If this rings true for you, stick around. Today, we're diving into 5 secrets that you might want to keep to yourself. Secrets that, if known, might just give those you love the upper hand in ways that you never intended. And believe me, these aren't some wild conspiracy theories. They're practical lessons grounded in real-life experience, a bit of psychology, and a whole lot of heart. Let's begin with something many of us hesitate to talk about: money. Now, you might be thinking, I've managed my finances all my life, so what could go wrong now? But here's the thing, our approach to money often changes as we get older. You might have spent years carefully budgeting and planning, but as you enter your 70s, unexpected expenses crop up. Healthcare, home repairs, and sometimes even the simple need for a little extra comfort in our twilight years. I remember my dear friend George. George was the kind of man who loved a good bargain and managed his savings with the precision of a seasoned accountant. Yet, when his daughter discovered just how frugal he was, she started making suggestions about his spending. "Dad, you deserve to enjoy your life. Let's invest some of that money in ways you've never considered," she'd say. It wasn't malicious, but it was clear that by knowing his exact financial vulnerabilities, she was subtly shifting control over his decisions. The key here is privacy. Keeping details about your financial situation, and especially any concerns you might have about future expenses, to yourself can help preserve your autonomy. If your children know every little worry you have about your money, they might inadvertently, or even intentionally, steer your choices. By maintaining a little mystery, you remind them that you're the one in charge of your purse strings. After all, you've spent decades honing your financial skills. Trust that wisdom and don't feel compelled to share every detail if it risks your independence. Another sensitive topic is our health. As we age, we naturally become more vulnerable to ailments, and our bodies might not be as resilient as they once were. It's only natural to be concerned about our well-being, but sharing every health worry with our children can sometimes lead to overprotectiveness. I've seen it happen more times than I can count. When a child learns about a minor health issue, suddenly they're convinced that their parent is too fragile to handle even the simplest tasks. Let me share a personal story. There was a time when I had a minor bout of dizziness. Instead of making it a big deal, I chose to manage it quietly. But when my son found out, he immediately suggested I take a leave from my regular activities, convinced I wouldn't be able to recover quickly. While his heart was in the right place, I felt like my ability to live independently was being questioned. What I learned is that while it's important to have your family's support, oversharing every little health detail can sometimes lead them to treat you more like a patient than the independent person you are. It's not about hiding things from the people you love. It's about preserving your sense of self. There's a balance to be struck. Of course, you should be honest about serious health issues, but for everyday ailments or minor setbacks, handling them quietly can help maintain your autonomy. After all, you know your body best, and sometimes you don't need a full-blown intervention for every little wobble. We all carry a bit of emotional baggage. Life has its ups and downs, and over the years, we've accumulated a mix of triumphs, regrets, joys, and sorrows. For many of us, our personal stories are sacred. But here's something to consider. The more your children know about your inner struggles, the more ammunition they might have to sway your decisions or guilt you into doing things their way. Imagine this scenario. You're discussing a recent loss or a painful memory, and your child seizes on it to suggest that you should change your lifestyle or even your living arrangements. Mom, if you move in with me, you wouldn't have to deal with all this loneliness, they might say. While the suggestion might come from a place of concern, it can sometimes feel like your emotional vulnerabilities are being used to dictate your choices. I've learned to keep some parts of my emotional history private. It's not about shutting my children out. It's about safeguarding the core of who I am. When you share every detail, you might unintentionally invite them to help in ways that can lead to overstepping boundaries. Trust me, after 70, it's important to protect your emotional space. By doing so, you reinforce the notion that your feelings and the decisions that come with them are yours alone. Over the years, we've all made choices we're not proud of. Those little mistakes and disappointments that, in our youth, might have seemed monumental, can become sources of regret or even manipulation if shared without caution. Adult children, with all their good intentions, might use these stories to remind us of how things should have been done, or to assert their opinions on how we ought to live our lives. I recall a conversation with an old friend, Margaret, who once shared that her daughter would bring up a particular financial misstep from decades ago whenever they discussed her retirement plans. It made Margaret feel as if her past was a chain that bound her to decisions she no longer wished to be controlled by. This is a classic case of how sharing too much about our past mistakes can become a tool for others to influence our present. The lesson here is to allow the past to remain just that, past. We've all learned from our missteps, and they've contributed to the wisdom we now carry. But when it comes to controlling our future, it's best to leave those details unspoken. Keep your past as a private map of your journey, one that serves you well without giving anyone else the power to dictate your next step. Finally, let's talk about dreams. Those personal aspirations that might seem trivial to others, but mean the world to you. After decades of living, we often set aside our own dreams to accommodate the needs and desires of our families. It's easy to get caught in the current of what everyone else expects, especially when your children start suggesting what they think is best for your life. I remember a time when I expressed a simple wish to travel a bit more, to see the world at a slower pace and savor the beauty around me. Instead of celebrating this desire, my daughter launched into a detailed plan of how I should spend my time, as if my dream was just a stepping stone in her grander scheme for our family's future. It left me feeling like my own hopes were being brushed aside in favor of her agenda. This is your life, and your dreams are the essence of your identity. Keeping your personal aspirations private isn't about being secretive. It's about preserving your freedom. When you share every detail of your hopes, you might invite unsolicited advice or, worse, pressure to conform to someone else's idea of what your life should look like. So, hold on tight to those dreams, even if they seem small or impractical to others. You've earned the right to dream on your own terms. Now, I know we've covered a lot here. These 5 secrets: guarding your financial details, managing your health news carefully, keeping your emotional struggles private, not airing every past mistake, and safeguarding your personal dreams, are not about shutting your family out. Rather, they're about ensuring that after 70, you remain the master of your own life. You've spent decades accumulating wisdom, and it's important that you continue to make decisions that feel right for you, not based on someone else's blueprint. You might be wondering, but isn't family supposed to care about me? And absolutely they are. These tips aren't about mistrust. They're about maintaining a healthy balance of closeness and independence. It's natural for children to worry, but sometimes that worry can turn into a subtle form of control if they know every little detail of your vulnerabilities. The goal is to create a space where you can be supported without feeling overrun. I encourage you to think about your own life. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where sharing too much led to unwanted advice or pressure? Perhaps it was that conversation about a minor health issue or a discussion about finances that ended up with suggestions you hadn't asked for. If so, you're not alone. Many of us have been there, and it's all part of the learning process in maintaining our independence. Let me share a final thought. Our lives, especially after 70, are rich tapestries of experience, filled with both triumphs and trials. Each secret I've shared today is a thread in that tapestry, a lesson learned along the way. Embracing these lessons doesn't mean closing off communication with our loved ones. It means standing firm in our identity. It means gently reminding ourselves, and sometimes our children, that while we value their input, we are the ones who have lived these years, and we know best what feels right for us. So, as we wrap up today's chat, I want you to remember this. You've spent decades earning your wisdom. Don't let anyone take that from you. Life after 70 is a time to relish in the fruits of your hard work, to explore new hobbies, to connect with old friends, and to savor the independence that comes from knowing who you are. In keeping these secrets close, you're not hiding. They're simply the little tools that help you keep control over your own story. Remember, you are not defined by your past mistakes, nor are you limited by your vulnerabilities. Instead, you are enriched by them. Embrace your independence. Keep a little mystery about your finances, health, and inner thoughts. And above all, hold on to those personal dreams that make your heart sing. There's strength in keeping some parts of your life just for you, because those parts remind you that you are the author of your own story. As we continue this journey together, let's keep these secrets as gentle reminders that sometimes silence is not about hiding. It's about preserving the unique, irreplaceable strength that comes from knowing yourself inside and out. And with that, my dear friends, let's raise a metaphorical cup of tea to the wisdom of years gone by and the bright, independent future that lies ahead. Thank you for spending these moments with me. I look forward to reading your comments and hearing your stories. Until next time, keep cherishing every little piece of your journey and never let anyone take away the hard-earned control over your own life. Take care, and remember, you are the master of your destiny, and your life is as rich and vibrant as the memories you hold dear. That's it for today's heartfelt discussion. I hope these secrets remind you to guard your independence and savor the freedom that comes with living life on your own terms. If you enjoyed our conversation, please subscribe for more honest chats about the things that truly matter as we grow older. I'll see you soon, friends. Until then, keep living with courage and grace, and never be afraid to stand up for the life you deserve.